Welcome to Bill the Drone Reviewer Podcast, episode 39, Rotor Talk Live, DJI Mavic Mini Impressions. Got that coming up next. The other night, I was joined by Marcus Crawford and Ron Braun, and we spent part of the time talking about the new Skydio 2 and when we think the Skydio 2 may come out. We spent a majority of the time giving our impressions of the DJI Mavic Mini since both Ron Braun and Marcus Crawford have had theirs. So without any further ado, let's roll that broadcast in its entirety. All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Rotor Talk Live Season 2, Episode 47. Marcus, how are you this evening?
Darn good, Bill. Darn good. Just happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, you know, Valerie and I, we're back on terra firma here after spending, what is it, a whole day. We suffered so greatly watching our granddaughter for almost 12 hours in one day. Okay, it was a real suffering, but we managed to pull through it somehow. We had a blast. We had an absolute blast. And I may have talked my son-in-law or my daughter to get my son-in-law a Mavic Mini for Christmas. So there'll be much more on that. And then I have a video coming out of our experience flying up their place. I think you guys will enjoy. I'm going to be working on that, getting that out. We got a lot to talk about tonight, but before we do that, I want to see who do we have in the house. Barry Markowitz is in the house. Welcome, Barry. Nice to see you. Drone Master, Matthew Cundiff, Stephen Uning, Stephen Mack, DeMarco's here. Air Photography is here. Lon is in the house. Lon, it's great seeing you tonight. Artco Drone Solutions, welcome, Art. Saigon 98 Drone Flicks, Brian is here. Brian, welcome. Thank you all for showing up tonight. Like I said, we have a great show coming up here tonight. Let me get the chat window. All right. Okay. All right. Well, you know, one of the first things that I wanted to talk about here is, you know, we're going to be talking a lot about the Mini tonight. So hang on for that. But one of the first things I want to talk about is, Marcus, it's almost the end of November. What are we waiting for?
You know, I keep thinking, I check my email every morning. I get up, I look at my email, I'm going, it's going to be there. It's going to be there. But not yet.
Well, see, for me, okay, I'm waiting. I'm hoping it comes after Friday. Friday is when we get our annual Christmas bonus. So I'm just like, wait till Friday. As long as it's after Friday, I'm good with it. So, but yeah, I've been getting a lot of comments and a lot of, you know, like, when's it coming, Bill? When's it coming kind of stuff. And it's just,
Well, we're all anxious because it's, you know, I mean, obviously we're hearing so many things about it, and it appears to be a game changer. And yeah, it'll be fun to know when it's coming. We've been really fortunate here in Idaho that our weather has held up pretty good, and I was hoping that it kind of would for the Skydio as well, but maybe not. We'll see. But you know, no matter what, we're going to have a lot of fun with it, and I'm really anxious to try. There's been some amazing videos come out from some of the pre-testers. You've been keeping up with those. It's like, wow, it really gets you excited.
There seems to be about, I'm guessing on the average, at least there's one new one a day that's coming out. And, you know, it just, you know, it's, you know, whetting your appetite kind of a thing is what this is. I mean, we're really getting a pretty good taste of things as far as that's concerned. One of the first things that I wanted to talk about was Drone DJ put out an article about the processor in the Mavic Mini. Now, we're not going to be talking pretty much about the Mavic Mini, and I'm going to go ahead and share that briefly and go over that here. So let's go ahead and get
the Umbrella video processor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's go ahead. We're going to get that. Okay. Would help if I hit share. All right, there we go. Okay. Umbrella processor inside Mavic Mini raises expectations. DJI Mavic 3 Pro. Okay. And here's a picture of it. And it shows it's an Umbrella processor that's in here. And, you know, I'll drop a link to this article in the description from Joan DJ from Hey Kestelou. But the basic thrust of the article is, you know, they're talking about the quality in terms of the processor and being able also obviously for, you know, video and photo type of things. And, you know, giving you a history about the Mavic 2 in here. And then, you know, the big speculation about, will the DJI Mavic 3 Pro have an Ambarella processor? You know, there's no guarantees with this. Okay. And there's some nice pictures, cutaways of the Mavic Mini in here. Drone Master from Florida was the one that provided those. So,
should we explain why that's a big deal, Bill?
Yes, go for it, Marcus. I was going to do that, but you go for it.
Okay, I didn't mean to interrupt. If you had that,
no, go for it.
But Ambarella video processors, they're kind of the preeminent maker of video processors. I know a lot of you people already know that. So, and I'm no tech expert, but I do know a little bit about it. But Ambarella is the company that really made GoPro famous. So. It's Ambarella processors that enabled GoPro to build some of the cameras that they've built, and so they're kind of known as the preeminent video processing chips. Now the other one is Qualcomm. Qualcomm does some video processing chips as well, and in fact, I believe it's Qualcomm that is in the Skydio, but. That's what they're talking about there when they saw that Ambarella chip, and that's why people get excited about that.
Yeah, and you know, we'll be doing, you know, when we get more info on the Mavic 3 coming up, you know, we'll be doing some more about that. But for now, and you know, that's, you know, it's starting to generate some interest because, you know, as we're wrapping up 2019 and we're wrapping it up in a, you know, with a pretty big bang here with the Mavic Mini, and now with the Skydio 2 coming out, you know, right around the corner, 2020 is coming out, and you know, our good friend Rick Smith from Drone Valley gave us his interpretations of what he thinks coming out, and which was good because he's not under any kind of NDA, so he was free to tell us a whole lot. And I'll drop a link in the description so you guys can check out that episode. And let me tell you, you'll want to listen to the last 10 or 15 minutes of that.
He's a believer in the Phantom.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know, I think that was the thing, Marcus, that surprised me more than anything that he told me was he still thinks there's going to be a Phantom 5. And I'm like, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I guess, you know, who knows at this point? Who really knows? I mean, you know, there's been an awful lot of talk. The other thing that there's been an awful lot of talk about is the Inspire 3. Okay. Like they're pretty much saying that it's going to be a done deal next year. That it's going to be smaller than the Inspire 2, but more powerful, better battery life, better sensors, better camera packages will be available for it. And of course, a bigger checkbook will be available as well.
Can you imagine? What's your guess, Bill? I'm going to say between $3,000 and $4,000.
Yes. Base price. Yes.
Base price. That's right. Base price. That's not counting optional cameras, or will it? That's even probably without a camera.
Guess who joined us? Mr. Ron Braun. Ron, welcome tonight. How are you, sir?
Hello, gentlemen. I'm doing well in Mini Nation here. How are you guys doing?
Mini Nation welcomes you, and we're very. Oh, there we are, Mini Nation. All right.
I was just out flying. Just got in from flying.
That is the best reason in the world. All right. Well, we were just talking about how we kind of talked a little bit about the Skydio 2 and how, you know, we're looking in our email and it's getting near the end of November and we're kind of waiting for that email from Skydio to say, you know, send in you the rest of your balance. We're ready to send it to you. And we just talked about the Ambarella processor that is in the Mavic Mini and that it's a precursor to the Mavic 3, hopefully coming out. And then Marcus and I were talking about what Rick was telling us during the end of the show, talking about what he thinks coming out in 2020. You know, he thinks that there's going to be a Phantom. I mean, it's just it was pretty crazy, but also the Inspire 3, and we were talking about that. So that's where we're at. Now we're going to spend the bulk of the evening, okay? And what I want to do first here is I want to get your impressions, both of you. We'll start with Ron. And I know Ron hasn't had as much time as we have had with it, but, you know, so far to where you're at this point, Ron, what are your impressions?
Today was the second flight.
Okay.
Everybody knows my history. I was a loyal customer to DJI. I stuck with DJI all the way, and I was rewarded with stuck in customs and late delivery or whatever. I should have been like you guys, jumped ship, that went turncoat, went to Best Buy, but I stayed loyal. Are you listening, DJI? Are you listening to how loyal I was? But I stayed loyal, and I got mine on Friday, and I got to fly it that night around sunset. And then it rained for the next 3 straight days, rain or wind or snow. So today was the first decent day. I mean, it's almost everybody's saying positive things. It's you know, it's for the money. It's nothing. It's all positive. I mean, it flies better than you would have expected it to. The camera is probably better than you would have expected for the price. The gimbal works great on it. You know, as Marcus pointed out in the test, or I should say, Marcus and Billy Kyle, the Wi-Fi, FPV, enhanced Wi-Fi is better than anything we've seen from another Wi-Fi drone. It's almost pushing itself up to the level of, well, I mean, not almost, but it's somewhat in the ballpark of OcuSync and Lightbridge, you know, more so than the older Wi-Fi enhanced drones from DJI and other makers such as Parrot. So, yeah, I guess that kind of sums it up in a nutshell. I'll turn it over to Marcus to get his impressions. It won't be any surprises here, but we're going to throw it over to Marcus.
There might be a surprise, Ron. I was out flying today too, buddy. I had the little guy out today.
You got some cons?
Well, I don't know. I'm not going to call it a con. I'm going to call it a little bit of a revelation. So when I was out at Settlers Park the other day, I had kind of an issue with the orbit or circle mode, as they call it in the quick shots. I was trying to circle a tree, and it didn't exactly orbit the tree. It went over the top of it and kind of was like more of a point of interest. It dropped the camera, looked at the tree. So I wanted to experiment around with that and see if I could make it orbit something away from me. And also I wanted to try, some people have speculated that while the drone does not have follow me mode, when you are in one of those quick shots, if you move and the drone is tracking you, it will move with you. And so I tried all of that. And I had a situation where I was at Heroes Park, and I was standing next to that picnic shelter. And so as the drone was making its orbit, it lost view of me. And as soon as it lost view, there was a car out in the parking lot. So it grabbed that as its center of orbit.
Oh.
And then a second later, way off in the distance, there's one of the sheds at the park, and it grabbed that as the orbit. And man, this little guy was confused and flying all over the place. So I just hit cancel.
Okay.
And then I went out and I tried, my car was in the parking lot. So I tried to get it to orbit my car. The first time I was unsuccessful. The second time I was. Then I thought, okay, my initial experiment was going to be, I'm going to get in my car. I'm going to drive it around the parking lot and see if the drone will orbit around me. Well, fortunately, I was smart enough not to try that right off the bat once I saw those other issues. So I went out in Heroes Park and just walking, set the drone on a quick shot orbit and with myself as the target, as the POI, and tried to get it to follow me, and with very mixed results. So what I'm going to say is, if you're just doing a regular circle or helix or droney or whatever it is with regard to the quick shots, it'll do them just fine. As long as you're standing there, as long as it's focused on you and it's within 40 meters, it will execute them perfectly. But anytime you try and do anything outside of those parameters, it's not going to do it. And the reason I tried that is because we're used to with other DJI drones, like the Mavic 2,
Okay.
obviously would handle that no
right.
problem.
Marcus, today, I'm glad you're sitting down. I actually tried an orbit mode, and I never do quick shots, but I went up and I did the orbit, and I had a little bit of trouble drawing the box around me. I had to maybe try 3 or 4 times to get the box to appear around me. It was appearing every place but me. But once I got it around me and hit go, and I didn't see any of the other things that changed. If you could do other things, I didn't see them. So I hit go, and it started off at a perfect orbit around me, but it got faster and faster. By the end of the orbit, that thing was flying. But
it does. I know. That's cool. I like it.
I was worried at the end. I said, "Oh, I hope this thing slows down." But when it got to the end of orbit, it kind of just slowed down all at one stop. But I never saw a drone pick up the orbit speed like that. I mean, it started off nice and gentle, but I mean, it was like your Corvette at the end. It was like in 6th gear.
I want to add one more thing for some information for our audience, because there was one situation that people need to know about, and that's when I was moving and it lost me one time. The drone just kind of took off on its own orbit, and it wasn't a flyaway. Don't misunderstand me, but if you were around some kind of obstacle or something, you could potentially run into something. So you got to pay attention. In fact, I just wouldn't try that. I wouldn't even try it. Don't try and move around while it's doing an orbit. That's probably the best advice.
Now, Marcus, I have to ask you, because I watched Bill's video this morning, his precision landing video, which it wasn't the most successful. Well, I mean, Bill's test was great, but the results probably wasn't what we'd hoped for. What have you seen in your and wait a minute, this drone doesn't have quote precision landing. I'm just using the term loosely here. How's your return to home's been going?
I don't know. I hand launched and hand catch today, Ron. You walked right into that one.
and I of course I manually landed like I almost always do, unless I'm making a drone test video. But I'm going to throw it to Bill to let him tell us a little bit more about his I hate to say precision landing, but just return to home accuracy. That's a better word.
Yeah, return to home accuracy. Well, what was real interesting was, and I don't have it up on the screen, but I pinged DJI support, and what their answer back to me was, they talked about they said they referred to the manual that comes with the Mini, and they talked about the hovering parameters, okay, plus or minus 1 to 5 meters or something like that. But the whole thing said it was under hovering, okay, which did not mean landing. All right. And I said, you know what? They probably didn't know how to answer that, is what I'm thinking. So they just came up with something, but they said they're going to forward it on to their engineering team. I was going to post this tonight on the show, but I didn't get to do that. So evidently this isn't something that's too shy, because or I saw Rick Smith at the end of his video, he posted all of his, and all of his missed. Who else did I watch? Air Photography, and I think you're on tonight. He's in the chat. His missed, and one of his missed by what, I think 10 to 15 feet, I think he said. And there was another one that I saw that was off 3 or 4 feet. The thing is with all of this, and I got a number of comments in my chat saying, "Oh, did you calibrate and did you do the IMU?" And I said, "Yes, I calibrated my compass, and yes, my IMU was calibrated." And and I had all kinds of comments in there about this, and about, well, it's good enough. Well, no, it's not good enough, because let's start with the spark, okay? Now,
but before you go on any further, Bill, would you agree that the Mini may be the worst return to home drone in DJI's line at this point?
Oh, at this point, without a doubt, Ron.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just want to get that established out there before we moved on.
Oh, without a doubt, because like I said, not only my experience, but other ones that I've seen. And then also, I mean, whether I was in Florida or up in Ohio with my son-in-laws, same thing up there. When I landed 2 or 3 times, wasn't anywhere near where I took off. It was at least 5 or more feet away. So I mean, it doesn't matter where you are or what you're doing. It doesn't matter if you calibrate your compass in IMU or not. It's going to happen. It's just one of those things that's going to happen. One of the other things that was really interesting to me that I got, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Let me get this up here. Now, I got this message, and this was just absolutely bizarre because I don't think I've seen it from anyone else. Now, it says battery cells under voltage replace battery. Okay. Now, this was, and let me preface this. This was test number 4 here. And with test number 4, I was on my second battery. I have the Fly More combo. All right. And this was the first use of the second battery. I had not recharged it. Okay. This was brand new. I just put it in there. Okay. Well, you know, obviously I had probably flown it on the flight before. You can see it. It's a 22%, but it says battery cells under voltage replace battery. I mean, that was just absolutely bizarre. And I hadn't seen that anywhere. I mean, I'd seen Marcus's message before that he came up with, but I hadn't seen this one at all. I mean, and everybody's like, you know, what does that mean? And I'm like, do you have to replace your battery? And I'm like, you know, I don't think so, but you know, I'm just wondering, you know, with 22% left, if it just, somebody was saying, you know, and somebody also said too, because we're using lithium ion instead of lithium polymer batteries, if that is making a difference here. And I'm not the battery expert. We had the battery expert on a few weeks ago, Rick Smith. Rick could probably better answer that question than I. What are you guys' thoughts on this?
Well, that's interesting. So, you know, a lot of people are getting that aircraft
efficiency or
insufficient.
Insufficient.
Yeah. So, what the heck? You know, clearly, when you're full throttle, it's drawing a lot of juice out of those batteries. I really suspect that's something that they'll be able to address with a firmware update. But the other thing about it is I've also talked to people that are saying, you know what, they've just pushed right through it and just kind of ignoring the warning, and the drone flies fine. So I really don't think it's a big deal. The other thing that I'll tell people is that that when you see that aircraft power insufficient, just let off the throttle a little bit and it goes away. So if you're concerned about it, just get off the throttle a little bit. And I am very confident that DJI will come up with a solution. And Lon is saying that it's a firmware bug, and I believe him. I think that sounds very logical to me.
I want to ask Bill a question.
Ron.
The battery warning that you just displayed on the screen, did that happen? I mean, as soon as you put the battery in, or did that happen at the end? When did that occur in the flight?
That was it. That was when I was getting ready to take off on my 4th test flight, and I had 22% battery left.
Oh, so you just put the battery in basically?
No, I put it in for flight number 3.
Oh, I got you. I got you doing multiple flights on one battery.
Right. I was able to.
I'm with you.
So,
yeah, I mean, I took my battery all the way down to, like, I don't know, at 18%, it was telling me, Lance, I took my battery lower than that battery, and I didn't get any warnings.
Yeah, I had taken it. Well, earlier in my video, I got mine down to 18, and then I just let it. I wanted to see if it would kick in automatically, so I just let it go, and it did, and it brought it back. But somebody, and I'm trying to see, Intel Maxwell Multi-Rotor said, let's see, what did he said something here about that.
Balanced cells?
Not balanced cells. Yeah. So, you know, I'm going to keep an eye on that. You know, I have it back in the second slot, but I haven't numbered the batteries yet, but I think I'm going to do that. And I'm going to keep an eye on that. If I get that again, I'm just going to ping DJI support, because that would obviously mean that's a bad battery.
And of course, in the DJI Go 4 app, which the Mini doesn't use, you can go in there and see what each cell of your battery, the charge on each cell of your batteries, but we don't. I guess
you can do it, Ron. Ron, just touch the battery up in the corner, and you'll see that feature in.
Oh, very good.
Nice. There's a good hack.
Yeah.
Nice.
This is one thing that, I just was like, it kind of threw me off a little bit here as far as getting that message was concerned. Now, I also have to say this, with my first flight, it was a very windy day here. It was 20 to 25 mile an hour gusts. And you probably saw at the beginning, how, the Mini was just going from side to side and everything. And my wife looked at the video footage and said, wow, that was crazy, because you just barely saw any movement when the drone was really kind of rocking back and forth. You barely saw any movement with that. One of the other things, and not a lot of people have talked about this, is how it stopped on a dime and it started on a dime. I mean, when I stopped that, it stopped. It felt a lot like, and you guys could probably verify this, when I flew Rick Smith's Anafi. The Anafi would stop instantly when I would let off the stick, and it would start instantly when I started on the stick. And this is what it felt like with me with the Mini. When I hit that stick, it went. When I stopped, it stopped. I mean, I got that impression. The other thing that impressed me too is when I took it up to about 60 or 65 feet for my first flight, when it was windy out, the stability got better. It didn't get worse. It got better as the winds got aloft. And I got a high wind warning, but I kind of, for the first flight, I didn't have a lot of time, because that was on the Wednesday before we were leaving to go up north. And I got it out just a little bit over the lake and I came back. But the stability when it was up at 65 feet with the high wind, that was impressive for a drone that size. It really impressed me.
I mean,
so,
Bill, I don't know if you saw, we had Chris Hope on our show last night, part of the Sunday Sunrise crew, and he normally flies the Phantom 4. And I asked him point blank, I said, can the Mini do everything that the Phantom 4 can for you? He said, everything. He said he's perfectly fine with doing anything he does with his big 4 with the Mini. That's how stable and good in the wind he thought it was.
Yeah, I was very impressed with that. I didn't get a chance. I was 3 sheets to the wind last night. I was just trying to recover. We had a 6 a.m. flight on Sunday morning, and I'm still trying to get my bearings from that, because we had to be at the airport at 4:30.
Little jet lag, yeah.
So yeah, that was just yeah. So so all in all, my first impressions for me are positive. I mean, I know DJI will work on a solution regarding the return to home. And I think it's a little more important on this drone versus like when we had the precision landing with the Mavic 2. Okay. You're looking at a different class of people. I won't say class. You're looking at a different user base. Okay. With this. Okay. For the three of us who have a Mavic 2, we're seasoned people. We know how to fly a drone. We know how to get it back home without having to hit return to home. And a lot of people that are getting this drone, then that will get this drone for the holidays, they're not seasoned people. They don't know a lot of times how to get the drone back. So they'll hit return to home. And, if it lands 15 feet away, it could be problematic depending upon where they're taking off from. It could land in water for all they know.
That's a good point, Bill. If you're in a big empty parking lot, it doesn't make any difference. What if you're near a pond or a lake?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it could.
Well, but it's so easy to cancel it. I'm struggling here a little bit, guys. I'm drawing a different conclusion than you are, because it's a $400 drone. I don't know if I don't think it's fair of us to have those kind of expectations of this product.
Well, I mean, I'm going to say off the bat, it sounds like the Zino, even before I had precision landing, would land closer to the pad.
That's very true. Good point.
And now it has precision landing, of course. So once in every 100th try, it lands right on the H.
That's also true. What I'm saying is, as the thing gets, return to home works. Mel 400 AGL just said there's nothing wrong with return to home, and that's true. It gets it back to where you're at.
Right. And Marcus, can I interrupt just for a second? We may
Sure.
never get back to this point. You said you don't, about it not being a big deal for beginners, and you said you can cancel. But I'm going back to Bill's point is, but we all know how to cancel return at home real easily. But what if that person gets it on Christmas Day and they're flying it for the first time? They may not even know there's such a thing as cancel the return home.
Listen, you're right, because how many times did we see that with the Zino, that people dropped them into a pond or something because they didn't know how to cancel RTH. I don't know what to say about that, Ron.
Well, I know what to say.
I get your point.
I know what to say. That they should all go to the Build Drone Reviews channel or the Idaho Quadcopter channel and watch the tutorials before they take off on Christmas afternoon, right? That's
I mean,
shameless
all
plug.
I'm saying is it's a $400 drone.
Yeah, Drone Master commented in here. It does not have bottom camera sensors, and Mel's in the house tonight. Welcome, Mel. Thanks for joining.
Hello, Mel.
Yeah.
Hey, Bill, can I stop you for just a second?
No, go for it. Go for it.
Mel made an excellent video he posted this weekend. He had an old train. It was called Big something or whatever, Big Red or something like that. It was a big train that used to haul like coal and iron back in the from like, he put all this historical thing from like 1930 to 1950, and it was only like 27 of them in the whole country, and this is one of the few that survived, and they have it back on the tracks again. Anyhow, watch this video. The history he puts it in. He has this filter in where he's flying a drone in the train. He makes it look like it's from that old era, whatever. I mean, just an outstanding job. Check 400 AGL on YouTube. Check the train video, and I forget the exact name of the train, but it was an amazing video. Sorry for the interruption, Bill. Back to the regularly scheduled programming.
No. That's fine. That's fine. I even forget what we were at. Marcus, you were going to say something, I think?
No, Bill, you were starting to say something. You said Mel's in the chat, and then you were going to say something. I'm sorry, but I just I believe it was so good. I just wanted to call it out.
It was a great video.
That's fine. No, and I think here the thing is, it probably would behoove us, and I know there seems on the average we're probably getting 5 to 10 new videos on the Mini a day. It would behoove probably some of us with some of these beginner videos to make sure that we mention how to cancel, return to home and take manual control of it, because I think that's an important thing we need to pass on to the first timers. That's going to be, something that will be very good for them, and it will teach them. And because eventually what you want to do is you want to take those training wheels off rather quickly. Okay. And in order to do that, you're going to need to fly it, not use the return to home, but bring it back by itself and teach people how to do that. So, there's some ideas for some videos for people out there to do stuff like that.
Thank you, Bill. I'll get busy tomorrow.
There you go. That's something for you guys to work on. And I think one of the other things too is, it's kind of calmed down in terms of the other thing I wanted to talk about as far as inventory. Now it's out on, go ahead and look out on, have you guys been out to see what DJI has said lately? I haven't, but from everything I'm hearing, drone stores, they are in stock, plentiful. I know Ken Donna told me Drone Works with, they have plenty in stock. I know Florida Drone Supply down here, they have plenty in stock. So I'm assuming like some of the big, I know Amazon has them in now. I know Best Buy is getting them in as well too. So, I mean,
Apple Store, Bill, you can get them at the Apple Store.
Now you can get them at the Apple Store too. I mean, it's this whole thing. It's like, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, whether DJI was trying to create some kind of artificial demand for this, in a backwards way. I don't know if they knew what they were doing or what. You guys have any thoughts about that?
Here's what I told Ron, Bill. I was, as you guys both know, I was very frustrated trying to get this little Mini. But I told Ron, I said, hey, once I had it in hand and flew it a couple times, all of that would be out the window and I wouldn't care. And that's how I feel right now. I'm just happy to have it.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a grand conspiracy as far as trying to create an artificial shortage or some kind of artificial demand. I mean, I'm not saying it's not, but that's not the way I feel. I just think that, DJI just doesn't have that supply chain pipeline at a company like I hate to compare them with Apple because nobody's Apple, but that they can, do a big release like this. I mean, we all thought, okay, if you have let's do just a mini recap, Bill. On October 30th, the drone was supposed to go on sale at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Marcus and I got there about 10 minutes early. They were already selling them before the announced time, and we thought that was the day you could buy them. And then you let us know that no, there was a hard launch day of 11/11, which we did not know until that day on the 30th. So we thought we were pre-ordering the drone and it would arrive. At that point, I thought, okay, it'll arrive on 11/11. Like when you order like a new iPhone from Apple, I mean, they don't ship it on the day it launches. You get it on the day it launches. So DJI doesn't understand that. When you have a hard launch day and you have your customers pre-order and you take their money a week ahead of time, that product should arrive on the launch day, not be shipped out on the launch day. And then, of course, I mean, DJI is not responsible for the whole tariff mess and things getting stuck in customs for a couple of days. But they should have been aware that when you're sending one drone or one electronic thing with that battery thing on it, that it's going to get stopped and checked. Now, when a big company like Best Buy had them and maybe Walmart had them, they had pallets come in weeks ahead of time and they were already here. And big companies like that, I mean, they greased the wheel to make sure theirs got through customs and whatever, because that's just not one package; it's pallets coming through. So, and that's why Best Buy was able to get them. So, my advice, and I think I said this on a video, if you're going to buy a product, the drone that has a launch date on it or whatever, you should buy from a company that that the drone's already in the U.S. sitting on a pallet someplace. Don't depend on that drone to be still in China and shipped to you to make that launch date. That's just my advice. That's my thoughts. I don't think it was a conspiracy. I think it was just a lack of
let me distill
how to do a launch.
Let me distill it down for you, Ron.
Thank you, Mark.
So DJI's marketing and logistics is not nearly as efficient as their engineering and production.
They need to find themselves their own Tim Cook.
There you go.
That makes perfect sense.
If Tim Cook was running DJI and that happened, I would hate to be in the board meeting with him, Marcus, or the that meeting when him asking why they didn't ship out in time. Somebody would be catching an earful, I think, Marcus.
There would be some heads rolling out of that
I know
room.
a little bit about logistics and supply chain. So yeah, I would say that could have been handled better. And let me tell you, I'm familiar with systems like Oracle and SAP, and all of them can tell you exactly what order is where, who ordered it when, where it's at in the system. And the failure of communication on DJI's part was kind of stunning. So I'm going to say that their marketing people should have been all over that and could have done a better job. Period.
See,
that's all. I'm happy to have the drone now, and I don't care.
Well, I think the whole thing revolved in Oracle talked about it. It says it was an artificial pre-order, which I think he was right, because I think what should have happened was, nothing on the 30th. They should have said, launch event on, on November 11th, and boom, there it is, available to order from DJI. And you can walk into Best Buy and pick it up at the same time if you wanted to do that. Okay. They do something like that. That's a whole different ballgame. All right. Because they're not going to have, and also too, a lot of these drones that were held up, like Ron was saying, was customs, and a lot of them are coming through and need to be inspected. And that creates a huge backlog and a huge delay. And I think, the moral of the story is, Ron said it best: order from a retailer who is going to have them on pallets here. And the same thing happened last year when the Osmo Pocket came out in November last year, guys. Remember? Mm-hmm. And I know several people that went to Best Buy and they picked them up right there at the store. There was no question about being able to pick them up there that day. when it was released. Okay. And this is what DJI should have done. They shouldn't have said October 30th, you know, and then they put the 20 to 25 days and all that stuff. And then I go out to Best Buy, I order mine from Best Buy, and it says available for pickup November 11th. It's just, you know, it's like they were, I don't know what they were doing. I think Marcus said it best. I think their marketing and logistics, I think they got screwed up on this. And they were ahead of the production and engineering departments, and they just need to communicate better, because, you know, it was looking like it may have been almost on par with the Mavic Pro fiasco of 2016.
And this may be too inside baseball here, but you know, they're training their customers not to buy from their website. They're training their customers to go buy from a big box retailer like Best Buy. And, you know, and that's a bad thing if you're the chairman of the board of DJI, because, you know, when you sell from your own website, you're keeping all the profits. When a third party like Best Buy is selling it for you, they're taking the chunk of the profit out, but you're training them to go there rather than buy from your website. So at the end of the day, it's not a good thing for the corporation.
That's right, Ron. I mean, they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot with something like that. You know, you want to be able, you know, if you're an organization, you know, it's like, you know, you want to be able to get as much profit as you possibly can from something. And in order to do that, you need to get the customer what they want in a reasonable amount of time. And that was just what was on the website from DJI was not a reasonable amount of time. And there, you know, a lot of people just decided, you know, screw it. I'm going to cancel my order with DJI. I'm going to order, you know, go pick it up at Best Buy. And I can't tell you how many people I've had comment to me and send me email, you know, we picked ours up at Best Buy. We cancel our order with DJI's, and that they're going to do that in the future. I mean, you know, I'm certainly going to do that in the future too. My first place that I'm going to look on a launch day is at Best Buy to see what it's like.
Yep. That's good advice, Bill.
I mean, you know, that's where that is.
Bill, before we get too far off, we may not get around to this, but being that you're on DJI and them selling, are you aware of DJI's Black Friday sale?
Yes, I am. And I was Ron, you read my mind, because we're going to be talking about that.
Great minds think alike, Bill.
That's absolutely.
So on that Black Friday sale, is there anything on that sale that's catching your eye or it stands out to you as being a tremendous bargain?
Well, the Osmo Action is $100 off.
That's a tremendous bargain.
That is. The Osmo Pocket is $90 off. That's a good deal too. And now, you know, you also look, the Mavic 2 Pro, I mean, it's a good savings, but you have to remember that price was inflated because of tariffs and all that before. So, I mean, the Mavic 2 Pro and the Mavic 2 Pro with a smart controller, there's a great sale on that. And you will save money, because I know I've had several people ping me, you know, about that. And I said, that's a tremendous deal. I would not pass that up, because if you can save money on a Mavic 2 Pro and a smart controller, go for it. Okay.
Oh, that price that they have for the Mavic 2 Pro, that's with the smart controller?
They have the first one is without, and then the second one, you can buy it with the smart controller.
Oh, how much is it with the smart controller?
You know, I don't know, Ron. I thought somebody said,
hey, chat room, could you look it up real fast for us?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I did see that, but it looked like it was a good deal compared to what retail is right now on it. I mean,
right, because Mavic 2 Pro with the standard controller retail now is what? How high is that now? Like almost 2,000?
Yeah.
And the smart controller puts it up to like 2,200, or
yeah, it was like 2,200. So I think they said it was about 1,700 with the smart controller.
Mm-hmm.
For that. So that's a really good deal for that. Now, what's interesting is the sale is different over in overseas, like over in the UK and Europe and Australia and Germany. This sale's only for North America, that what Ron and I were just talking about here. So, I mean, you know, it's real interesting how DJI does that. And it starts at a certain amount of time and it ends a certain, and that's going to be it. They'll be done as far as that's concerned. Oh, and on another side note as well too, DJI affiliates now are making money on the DJI Mavic Mini. DJI is letting DJI affiliates earn income on the Mavic Mini. So if you're interested in getting a Mavic Mini, check out Ron's links, check out Marcus's links, check out my links. You know, I know myself, and I think maybe Ron and Marcus as well, also have links to buy them from Amazon. So it's wherever you choose to do that. If you want to do it, it does not cost you any more money at all. And it helps you get to see quality programming like what you're experiencing now at this time with 3 incredible drone reviewers here.
Wow.
Great. That's well said, Bill. I'm writing this down, but I do have a question actually, Bill. This is like you're going to be sitting in front of the Congress here. Now, if I would order any of these products you told me, the Osmo Action, the what's the Osmo? What's the one with
the Osmo Pocket
or whatever, or the Mavic 2 Pro? Would this drone ship from China, and will this product ship from China and get caught in customs, or do you think this is sitting in a U.S. warehouse someplace and will come to me direct?
Oh,
I think the U.S. warehouse.
U.S. warehouse for sure.
Okay, so I don't have to work. When it says it's here in 2 or 3 days, that's not going to be stuck in a FedEx jail for a couple more days.
Yeah, Mel's right. I think we all have links for people to buy it. Yeah, we do, Mel. Everybody does. So whatever drone reviewer, you know, you want to spread the wealth around. You know, it all helps all of us to maintain our channels and do quality programming.
And Bill, would you explain how those links work a little bit? And what I mean by that is like, and this again, this is whoever used my link, your link, Mark's link, Mel's link, or whatever. You know, if you do use the link, say for Amazon, don't throw it in the cart and leave it in the cart for 5 days and then go back and make the purchase. Bill or Mel, they're not going to get the sale then or whatever. I think you have to purchase it within 24 hours of putting in your cart, or that link is broken and the person won't get credit. So you may think, oh, I'm going to do Bill a big favor. I'm going to buy this Mavic 2 Pro and he's going to get his 5% or whatever, and then he gets nothing because of that. So just remember, like if you put in your cart, you don't buy for 5 days, go back and delete that one, go back and put it in the cart again fresh, and then complete the purchase. Am I on base on this at all?
Yes, you are, Ron. Yes, you are. And the other thing is if you decide to go out, let's say, and buy from Amazon, and not only you drop a Mavic Pro in your cart or an Osmo or whatever, and you go out and you buy some other things, it also helps us well as too, because that's something that will help us on anything that you get during your time out there on Amazon. So
hey guys.
Yes, sir.
So I'm seeing a couple of interesting comments in the chat. So Saigon 98 Drone Fix is talking about the smart controller, talking about modifying the antenna. I've never heard of that before, but it's interesting. He says it helps it after an antenna modification. Don't know what that is. And Lon is commenting about the Skydio, and I think he's referring to that some cracks in their armor. And I think he's referring to that video that we all saw of Kyle. I can't remember Kyle's last name.
Idaho Kyle.
Yeah. He lives right here where I do, and I can't remember his last name, but he was riding his bike and he came through some trees, and he did get the Skydio stuck behind a branch, and he had to come back and get it.
Hey, shameless plug. Kyle's going to be on Drone Therapy tomorrow night.
He is. And Lon, I am too. I think we're all in that first batch, aren't we? The three of us.
Yeah,
right now,
3 of us. Well, I think Rick Smith's probably going to get his first. I think he said he hit the button as soon as he got the email. So
yeah, that's good.
He beat Marcus to the buy button.
Yes, he's did.
He's got a faster button than Marcus even.
He has very quick fingers. I mean, there is absolutely no doubt about that. None whatsoever.
I'm still on my schedule that I used to say it'll ship, even though it was supposed to be in November, it'll ship on November 30th. Now I'm thinking we may get the email on November 30th.
Yes, that could be.
The email may arrive November 30th.
That's very true, Ron. One of the things that I want to talk about before we wrap things up here is the video quality from the Mavic Mini, and I wanted to touch upon this because, you know, I can't tell you, you know, a lot of people, you know, say, you know, why don't you go to other locations and shoot? And I do. But the big reason why, it's right out my back door, and it's very easy for me to get up in the air quickly, and to be able to film out there quickly. And also too, it's a point of reference for me, because I know if something is different or there's an anomaly, I can catch it quickly from my videos. And one of the things that I saw, even though it was an overcast day, and I did get some video out there when I was shooting my my video for the return to home, I was still very impressed. Especially, I think the thing that kind of jumped out to me about the Mini was the color profiles on it, because you know, even though it was dreary and overcast, but when I tilted the gimbal down when it was when it was landing, you know, how green the grass was, the color of the orange on the landing mat stuck out, and some of the other colors just kind of really jumped out. And, you know, it just really impressed me. You know, it's really, you know, very, very high quality video. I mean, I have no complaints with it.
Bill, did you see my you know, of course I only had one video up, but my video that I took, well, I put it up one time in my first video unedited, but then I went back and color graded it by that sunset, and I got lucky with that incredible sunset. Were you impressed how the quality came out after it was edited in
Oh my gosh, Ron, that was just fantastic.
So I got
absolutely loved that.
I got lucky with that sunset. Now, I know Marcus would say something, but I'm going to address the chat room here, Bill. Chat room, Marcus and I will arrive in Florida sometime in the near future, and we will kidnap Bill the drone reviewer and take him over to North Reddington Beach and make him fly a new location. And I held this back from you last time, Bill. We flew at the abandoned pier, but if you go to the other end of the beach, there's like a nice bridge, a really good looking bridge that goes over to the mainland. I think that would be another good target for us to fly. And also there's another pier down that way too, not an abandoned pier, but I got a couple other locations scouted us out in North Reddington. So we will get Bill, by if it's by force or whatever, you know, call the FBI on us or whatever, but we'll get him over there. And who knows, if we have the Skydios by then, you could, how about flying that Skydio all through the abandoned pier?
Yeah, that would be top notch. Well, and I know where you're talking about, Ron. And before you get there, it's the only revolving restaurant in the state of Florida. It's down right past that down there, and it's near where that bridge is where you're talking about. And what's real interesting with that is that's where we go for our Christmas dinner every year. We've been doing that for the last 3 or 4 years, going down there. And what was it? The first time we went, we're having our Christmas dinner, and my older son looks, "Hey, Dad, I think that's a drone." There was a Phantom 3 Pro outside, was circling. The restaurant's circular, and it revolves. And the Phantom 3 Pro is following us around as we were revolving around there to watch that. And I'm just looking at that. Now, this is the year before I got my drone, and I'm just like, okay, this is like really cool. I am like really enjoying the daylights out of this. And Valerie's like, "You think they're filming us?" And I said, "Well, yeah, they're filming us, but I'm not sure how, you know, what the detail was." But I mean,
sorry about that, Bill. I didn't think anybody saw me out there that day. I'm sorry.
No, that was Ron. Ron got caught. We found out, Marcus.
We found out.
We don't know who did that.
Hey, so the one thing that I was going to mention about the video with the Mini is it is susceptible to lens flare. A lot of people have noticed that. Almost everybody's videos you look at. But there again, I'm going to excuse it because it's a $400 drone, you know?
And Marcus, a lot of people pay big money to get those fancy filters to put lens flares
to
in
do
their
that
video,
on purpose.
so you get it for free here or whatever. You know, my even my iPhone gets my iPhone 11 Pro gets a lot of lens flare. It's what we need on this drone is ND filters, but as somebody said, the ND filters are at that gram and it'll be over 250 or whatever. But I mean, I'll gladly put my registration number on it. I don't care. But we need ND filter because I made a comment on Marcus's video that he flew to Snake River, and also Ryan Duvall's video where he flew over like around his neighborhood. They flew about 1 o'clock in the afternoon at the height of the sun, and they were both overexposed. And again, no fault of theirs. It's just just happens you fly that time of day without, he probably could have used the ND16 on there, or at least an 8 polarized or something like that to even bring a little color back. And I know Al Diaz, is Al Diaz in the house tonight with us?
Yes, he was. Yes, I did see him in.
Al sent me a message today that he found some ND filters on eBay already, but I didn't get a chance to check it out. I don't think any of the big boys like Polar Pro or Freewell have put out ND filters yet, but I imagine maybe this is some sort of a, like a smaller company. I hate to say a knockoff company, a smaller ND filter company has maybe come out with something. Do you know of anything about any ND filters for the Mini yet, Bill?
No, the only thing I heard, I know Barry Markowitz was in. He had sent me a link to who was it? To have a hard case for the Mavic Mini. Okay. I do want to talk about this, and I gotta say this, okay, because everybody probably knows I was up in Ohio this past weekend, and what I did was this went in directly in my bag, in my carry-on, and it was so easy to get in here. Okay, it was just, I can't say enough about it. Okay, now everybody knows it's not a hard case. This isn't going to float. But, it's hard enough that this isn't going to get crushed inside the box. Okay,
Ron, hold yours up.
Yeah, where's my case?
Where's Ron's case at?
Sorry, buddy. I couldn't help.
Looks like I'll have to buy Barry's hard case. Bill, how did the Mini travel for you? Did you put that in like your inside your carry-on luggage?
Yes, I put it inside the carry-on luggage, and I had absolutely no problems with that whatsoever.
Now, when TSA stopped you, did they fly the Mini around the TSA area before they let you have it back?
They said they couldn't do it because I didn't have the prop guards with me.
You left the props at home.
I left the props at home. So
you're the only one. I should say the only one. You've flown with prop guards, but Marcus hasn't. Is that correct?
That's correct. You'll never see the prop guards on mine.
Now, see, the only way that I could do that indoor flight, I had to have the prop guards on. You go back to maybe one of my videos from about 2 years ago. I flew the Mavic Pro. And the problem with flying the Mavic Pro, and it ended up being the Spark as well, because I have a dark floor. We have a dark wood floor, and I read the sensors. It confuses the sensors when it's a dark floor. They said it works well on lighter floors, but because I had a dark floor, it didn't recognize it. So it started acting like it was in ATTI mode, and it was just starting to bop up and down. And then next thing I know, it was just doing one of these. And then my Mavic Pro, let's say it put a little divot in the wall.
Understood.
And I'm lucky I don't have a divot in my head right now.
Say no more.
So, Ron, do you need some prop guards? I have some available.
Well, maybe for the right price. Now, we're making fun of prop guards here, and I always say this when I review a toy drone, and I put the prop guards on. Somebody always comments, well, take those prop guards off, and I always try to explain, the prop guards aren't for people who own a lot of drones to fly all the time. People that buy like toy drones, and I don't want to call the Mavic Mini toy drone, but a lot of first-time drone users will get this. It's no use tearing up your props that first day, not be on the fly mode because you've ruined all your props. Put the prop guards on until if you've never flown a drone before, put them on until you don't hit any walls, trees, fences, or whatever. Till you stop hitting that stuff, leave them on. And once you don't bump into anything anymore, take the prop guards off and fly out like a normal. Again, you can not listen to me, and if you want to order a case of extra props, if you're just getting started, you may be the world's greatest pilot right off the bat. But I know for myself, when I first started flying a Seaman X5, I was bumping into things. That didn't have GPS though. But anyhow, that's my prop guard speech, and I'm sticking to it. But
all right. And Barry said GPC has a case with Nanook releasing one soon. Thank you, Barry.
I'll check Barry's link, and I'll check his affiliate link.
I don't think they're going to be that expensive too. I think they were like probably well under $100 for those cases. So that's a good thing.
Now, Bill, would you recommend? Now, would you recommend? Okay, you're Bill the drone reviewer. Everybody knows you got drones. So you got a friend, family member, coworker comes to you and they say, I want to get a drone for Christmas, but maybe for themselves, maybe for a loved one, a relative, or whatever. And they say, and it's their first drone or their first GPS drone. What would you recommend to them right today, Bill?
First drone, Mavic Mini. I wouldn't hesitate.
And would you recommend? Say they're on a tight budget. Would you recommend the standard kit or the Fly More?
I'd recommend the standard if there's on a tight budget. I mean, it has everything you need to fly, and you're saving $100. But if you look at it and you look at the prices on things, batteries for the Mavic Mini are $45 a piece, and you get 3 batteries with the Fly More kit, which that really the batteries themselves. Plus the hard side case, plus the prop guards and everything, and the charger. You're really getting a pretty good deal on that.
That's probably good advice. I mean, Marcus and I talk about this all the time. Marcus and I go out the field with a whole car full of drones, so I really don't need 3 batteries of the Mini because I got to fly all these other drones too, or whatever. But for if it's your only drone, that is an important factor to consider. Bill, you got some interesting chats going on.
Yeah, in the next firmware update for Mavic Mini, it's going to increase the power for the rotor of 50%. I don't know about that.
50%.
Yeah. Arbit2 fan 008 and Mel says don't go spreading rumors there. Yeah, that's wow. Yeah. Okay.
Now speaking of that 50% increase, today when I was flying the Mini, I want you guys to let me know what you were getting. When I was flying with the wind at my back, and it wasn't much wind at all, I was getting about 18 or 19 miles per hour in P mode. And then when I put in the sport mode, I was getting almost, I was at 28.9 like a whole bunch of times. I never quite crossed over to 29. What kind of speeds were you guys seeing?
Just about the same.
About the same, yeah. I would say about the same.
So that's pretty standard then. So I mean, do you guys really feel that this small drone needs a 50% increase in power?
No.
Well, now let me. So my first answer is no, but I also want to add to that one of the joys of that Mavic 2 is being able to get out to a location fast. You put that sucker in high gear and it's going 40 plus miles an hour.
True.
To get to wherever it is you're filming. There is something to that. Now, that said, that's not the mission of this little drone. So, 28 miles an hour is good.
Bill, can I say something maybe a little controversial?
Go for it, Ron.
People probably don't want to hear this, but again, because it's all positive on the Mini. I mean, in sport mode, it moved good enough, but Mark says not Mavic 2. But guess what? You put Spark in sport mode, and the Spark's got a little more giddy up than the Mavic Mini in sport mode. The gimbal wobbles, you can't get good footage, but if you just want to fly, the little
let me
Spark's
add
got a
one
little
more thing
get
to
up
that,
and go.
Ron. Let's go have a race. You take your Spark, I'll take the Mini, and I'll go far enough that I'll watch your Spark fall out of the sky before the.
Well, this is a drag race, not a what do you call it in Europe, but not a European road race. This isn't 24 hours of Le Mans. This is like at the drag races or whatever.
And then I'll drive Marcus's Corvette underneath it and I'll catch it.
Hey, Bill, you want to see a little history of DJI portable drones? We did this last night in the show.
Okay.
Let's see here. Do I have the ankle down enough? Can you see them?
We can see them all, Ron.
Here we have DJI's first portable drone. The first thing smaller than a Phantom. It's the Mavic Pro Classic. Came out at the end of 2016. It was their first and only mobile drone for about 6 months. And then in the spring of 2017, the little Spark came out. It was announced in May and shipped in June. It was their second portable drone. And then I got a hole here. I never had the Mavic Air, so I'll let the Analfi be the Mavic Air since it's kind of the same drone. So it'll sit there. And then summer of 2018, late summer of 2018, we get the Phantom 2 Pro, 1-inch sensor, and there's of course it's a zoom model too. Both are still in stock and available to this day. The other drones I showed you are discontinued from DJI. You'd have to buy them third party. And then, November of 2019, we have the Mavic Mini, and that completes the DJI mobile drone line. Am I missing anything, Bill, or did I?
Nope, you got it, Ron. You got it.
So, and all the other DJI drones are all what I would call non-mobile, non-travel drones.
That'd be correct.
And of that bunch of drones, you know, of course, I don't have the Mavic Air sitting. I know you've reviewed the Mavic Air. Which one is your favorite, Bill?
Out of all of those right there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's easy.
Well, let's take price out of the equation. Just
Even with
just
price out of the equation, very easy. Mavic 2 Pro.
Of course, it's the Mavic 2.
It's a done deal.
That's an easy one. Give me your number 2 though, and remember, pretend the Mavic Air. I mean, the Mavic Air is sitting here.
That's
Number
easy
2.
for me. I'm going to say the Mini.
Bill's still thinking.
You know, you know what? I'm probably gonna agree with my co-host here. I'm probably gonna say the Mini as well too. I was leaning to the Mavic Air, but two things with the Mavic Air detract from it for me. One, when you're traveling in sport mode, that gimbal's unusable. You can't film anything with that. And the other thing is that thing, you know, and Rick Smith proved it. And Rick did. There were a lot of people who tested sound. Rick did probably one of the better ones, and he used he hooked it up to, you know, looking at sinusoidal waves and the whole 9 yards. By far and away, that sound from that Mavic Air is a killer.
Bless you, Bill.
It was a killer, and Rick did it from up what he was like 50 feet up in the air when he was doing his tests, and he had the Mavic Air up there, and it's just still, you know. Well, one of my friends, Ian, over in the UK, he said he loved that drone, but he got rid of it. He says because that thing was just annoyed the daylights out of him. The pitch of the sound, it was just horrible.
Yeah, I mean the noise factor and no OcuSync kind of did it in, even though this camera quality was stellar. Those two things, the connection with the enhanced Wi-Fi, and what we've learned too is, did we touch on this yet, that the enhanced Wi-Fi in the Mini is much superior than the enhanced Wi-Fi in the Mavic Air? Did we touch on that, Bill?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So that's another thing going for it. So yeah, you guys may be right. Of course, if you take the Mavic Pro Classic from 2016, the only thing the Mini does better than this is what? I think the Mini has a better flight time, but this flies farther, better camera, more functions or whatever. This is still superior in every way to a drone from 2019, except the battery life.
Gentlemen, closing thoughts. Who would like to go first?
Well, Marcus left the set for a minute, so we'll let him go last. Closing thoughts. Again, first, not even first full week with the Mini yet. I was skeptical. A lot of guys, were really loving the Mini before it came out. I was a little skeptical, and I was completely turned around. I mean, it's maybe the best bang for the buck out there, best drone for a beginner. All the qualms about, I don't even want to hear stuff like it doesn't have 4K, it doesn't have optical voice. It never said it did. It has everything it was advertised to have. I don't knock a project on things it didn't say it had or whatever. So what it said it does well. And I mean, I understand. I wish I had a few more camera functions and so on. And maybe we'll get that in a future update. Maybe we won't. But just if the little Mavic Mini never improved from this day on, it would still be a good drone. And I'm going to throw it over to Bill, and Marcus could finish up when he makes it back. What are your thoughts for?
Well, first thing, Marcus, you can go ahead and share if you're ready.
What am I sharing?
Closing thoughts.
Oh yeah, hey, that's easy. What a fun little drone. The Mavic Mini to me is just a gift. I've had more fun with that little guy than I ever thought that I would, and I hope that everybody else gets a hold of one, because it's cheap enough that a lot of people should be able to afford it. And when you have it in the air, you feel like you're flying a bigger drone, or at least I do. And I'm enjoying the heck out of that. The other thing is I'm hoping that this time next week, we're talking about the Skydio email that we got. So let's hope.
Well, before I give my closing statement, I have to share this picture here. Okay. Now, most of you know that we were up in Ohio over the weekend, and you can take a look here. We spent the better part of our day on Friday, probably almost 12 hours, watching that little bundle of joy that's sitting right next to me right there. It was one of the best days of my life. I kid you not. And I'm also going to go ahead and share a picture of her with her grandma.
Did Ellie get to fly the Mini?
Well, yes, technically, we did a selfie, and that's coming out in a video that I'm going to have coming up. Now, here's a picture of her with grandma. Okay. She was just absolutely enthralled with grandma here. I mean, there's just no question about it. She absolutely loves spending time with her grandma. That was just it was priceless. Okay. And I know some of you out there have been grandparents, over more than once and everything, but I got to tell you this, this joy is something that nobody will ever be able to take away from either Valerie and I. And, coming up, and probably in about 4.5 years when I retire, we're going to be splitting time between Ohio and Florida. So we'll officially be snowbirds. Now, I do for legal reasons, we have to live down here at least 6 months in one day. And, to qualify, to be resident of the state of Florida, because that's where we'll keep our residency. And we have yet to figure out what we're going to do as far as, if we're going to, buy something up there, rent something up there. We don't have any idea what we're doing at this point, but we are going to do something because, spending time with her is just absolutely priceless. On to drones. And I'm sorry to digress here. I just wanted to spend grandma looks, thankfully. You're right, Stephen. Absolutely. 5 months old now. You're right, Larry. She is absolutely 5 months old.
In 4.5 years, you could just establish the BillTheDroneReviewer corporate headquarters in the Ohio area.
Oh, I sure will. Well, my son-in-law will be with me because he'll be flying drones as well too. I'll be sharing with everyone shortly in a video probably coming up in the next day or two. My first flight in Ohio with the Mavic Mini, with my son-in-law with me, and then also I did a selfie of our entire family from the Mavic Mini. So I think everybody will enjoy that. I'm going to echo both what Ron and Marcus said. This is a fun drone. And I think Ron, I really like what Ron said. People are complaining it doesn't have 4K, it doesn't have OcuSync. It never said it, it was not advertised as such. And you're getting what you're paying for with this drone. And I think you're getting an awful lot of technology packed into this 249 grams inside there. It's pretty incredible what you're getting with this and the abilities and capabilities of this. DJI came out with an app. We really didn't spend a whole lot of time talking about the app, but I really like the app that they came out with. They made it very simple. They made it easy to understand. And I like that. And I think that's something that they could probably take going forward and maybe kind of translate that to the DJI Go 4 app to make it a little more user-friendly. This is a very user-friendly app.
I think Billy Kyle did a full walkthrough on the new Fly app. If anybody wants to go through it,
yeah, Billy did do a very good,
spec for spec. Just check Billy Kyle's video out.
Yeah, he did a great one on that. And all in all, this is something, it's going to fly off the shelves for Christmas. There's going to be a lot of people buying these for Christmas. And I think that'll be good because it's going to introduce a lot of people to the hobby. And I think it's going to be up to us to go out there to put good quality videos out there. And the good and the bad, and to show things and to talk about things and to help people out, because there's going to be a lot of questions out there. And, there's quite a few of us out there to help answer these questions. So I think this is going to be absolutely fantastic. So, with all that being said, I want to thank Ron for showing up tonight. Really appreciate your jumping in because I know you've got a Mavic Mini, and we really appreciate having you on the show tonight. Marcus, thank you again. I think I'm like you. I'm hopeful by this time next week we'll have our little pieces of paper in hand. We'll print off our emails from Skydio and saying we're ready to go here. So Ron's shaking his head.
Beacon, the controller, and a couple extra batteries.
We won't. All we'll still be sitting here waiting. There were rumors out about almost a week ago that some people had received their emails already, but I can't confirm those rumors.
I think it's just Facebook wishful thinking myself, Ron.
Yeah. I kind of think so as well too. And I want to thank everybody for showing up in the chat tonight. Mel was in, Stephen Ewing was in, Larry Boggs was in, Mike Roach was in, Steve Mack was in, Saigon 98 Drone Fix was in, Drone Master was here, Scouts Honor was here, Barry Markowitz is here. Barry, it was a treat having you in the chat Barry. Tonight. Thank you for showing up. I know Art was here. This is great. This was just absolutely great. Really appreciate a great chat. It really helps make the show interesting. We don't have much more left this year, guys. We're wrapping up with 2019. It's coming to a close. So what else can I say? Thanks again for a great chat. Thanks for a great show. I have the two best co-hosts you can have out on YouTube, Ron and Marcus. Just absolutely.
Hey, Bill, what kind of day? What kind of day is it, Bill?
It is a great day to fly, Ron. And with that, everyone, have a good night.